Boss fired me, stole clients. Revenge story roars. My boss fired me after I built his empire. His texts begged me back 3 days later. That was when I knew he'd lose everything. If this story moved, you don't forget to drop a comment and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable stories that speak to the heart. I'm Tyler Pennington, 46 sales director at Cascade Threads, a sportswear company in Asheville, North Carolina. 13 years in, I'd turned their Southeast division from a $200,000 loss into a $5 million juggernaut, closing $8 million in contracts yearly. Not a billionaire, but steady $210,000 a year. A brick colonial home, a Chevy Silverado, and a life I'd earned since my wife passed 4 years ago. No kids, just me and my clients, loyal like family. Cascade was my legacy. I mentored reps, flew to midnight deliveries, and sealed deals over bourbon. My CEO, Greg Harlan, 60, called me the closer. I thought my division was untouchable. Then Eddie Ramsey, 48, the new CEO, stormed in and burned it down. It started subtle. Eddie, a slick exec from Atlanta, arrived after a buyout by Triton Group. He preached disruption and lean growth, his smile sharp as a blade. In sales meetings, he called my handshake deals relics. I'd built 70% of our revenue on trust, not algorithms. But Eddie pushed streamlined pipelines. New reps slashed bonuses. I caught him eyeing my client list. Then the cracks appeared. The first sign was a missed contract with Blue Ridge Outfitters, a $1, $2 million account I'd nurtured for a decade. Eddie reassigned it to a rookie, claiming fresh eyes. The deal tanked. I confronted him, expecting reason. He smirked. Big picture, Pennington. Don't cling to the past. I pushed. Pass. That's my client. His eyes glinted. Focus on your role. Doubt's a cold knife. By summer, Eddie's restructure hit. He called me and tie loose grin smug. Tyler, you're out. We need agile leadership. 13 years and he axed me in 10 minutes. You're a diner in a drive-through world, he sneered. I got a severance offer, 4 months' pay tied to an NDA. Sign and I'd be muzzled. I took the papers, walked out, his laugh trailing. My team reps I'd trained stared stunned. I kept my head high, but inside I was fracturing. Home was no haven. My office, stacked with old contracts, felt like a grave. I poured a scotch, stared at the NDA. Sign and I'd betray my clients. Refuse and they'd smear me. I called my old friend Nate Carver, 50, a business consultant who'd seen corporate knives up close. We met at a dive bar, neon flickering. Tyler, you sure? Nate asked, sipping porter. Eddie's sabotaging my division. I need proof. He scribbled a name. Lila Holt. P.I. She's a hawk. Costs, but she delivers. I pocketed it, resolve like iron. Lila was a dynamo, mid-40s with a no-nonsense stare. We met in her office, files piled high. What's your goal, Pennington? She asked. The truth. Eddie's game, his endgame. She nodded. 2 weeks. Act normal. Don't sign that NDA. Normal. Like I could with my life's work in flames. I played the part. Cleared my desk at Cascade. Smiled when Eddie bragged about optimization. But every nod was a lie. Lila worked fast. Her first report hid emails between Eddie and a Triton exec, Victor Klein, 62, planning to gut my division for a rival brand, Apex Wear. Client lists, my lists forwarded to Apex. The worst. Eddie wasn't just firing me, he was poaching my clients, using my trust to sell them out. My deals, my legacy stolen. I sat in my truck, rain hammering the roof, reading Lila's file. This was a revenge story, but bigger, a corporate betrayal. I could have signed the NDA, taken the cash. But I'm smarter than that. I called Nate. Get me to Triton's board, I said. I'm exposing this. Nate paused. This is big, Tyler. Ready. I gripped the phone. They broke me. I'm breaking back. The board meeting was days away. I didn't tell Eddie I'd be there. He thought I was silenced adrift. I stood outside Cascade's glass headquarters, watching Eddie pitch my clients to suits I'd trusted. My heart burned for the man I'd been. Then Lila called. Got more, she said. Audio. Eddie and Victor at a client lunch. They're planning to tank Cascade's stock post-poach. I listened in my garage tools, silent. Eddie's voice smug. Pennington's clients are ours. He's gone, we're golden. My blood boiled. I sent it to Nate. This goes to the board, I said. And the clients, the first twist hit hard. Lila traced a $500,000 consulting fee to a shell company linked to Victor Klein. Eddie had promised him a cut of Apex's profits if my clients jumped ship. They weren't just poaching, they were rigging the buyout. I met Lila at a coffee shop, dawn breaking. What's next? I asked. She sipped her latte, eyes sharp. Confront Eddie, now it's chaos, or play their game smarter. I leaned back, mind racing. Eddie thought I'd stay quiet. Victor thought he owned Triton. They were wrong. Let's end them, I said, voice low. Nate filed a whistleblower report with Triton's board attaching Lila's evidence. I hired a business analyst, Cora Blake, 41, to dig into Cascade's contracts. $2 million in deals, my deals rerouted to Apex over 6 months. My life's work siphoned off. Cora's report was a weapon. "You've got him," she said, handing it over. "They're done." But they weren't. Eddie called, voice slick. "Tyler signed the NDA. We can make this smooth." I let him ramble, recording. "Smooth. You stole my clients." He laughed uneasy. "Big picture, man." I hung up, sent the audio to Lila. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A woman's voice, low. "Back off, Pennington. You're playing with fire." Click. My pulse raced. Victor's ally. Someone else. I locked the house, checked the cameras. Nothing. But the threat lingered. This wasn't just about clients anymore. Eddie, Victor, and whoever was pulling strings, they were coming for me, and I was ready to fight. That woman's voice, low, menacing, clawed at my mind. "You're playing with fire," she'd warned. Sleep was a ghost. My Asheville house, once my stronghold, felt like a snare. Every headlight, every rustle set my nerves ablaze. But I wasn't folding. I'm Tyler Pennington, and I'd built Cascade Thread's Southeast Division into a $5 million empire. No way was I letting Eddie, Ramsey, Victor Klein, or their scheme gut me. Morning broke damp and cold. I called Lila, my PI voice taut. "Got a threat. Female, not sure who. Track Victor's network." Lila was iron. "They're spooked, Tyler. We're close. I'll dig into his contacts." Next, I hit up Cora, the business analyst. "What's new on the contracts?" I asked. She didn't pause. "They're careless. Another $800,000 rerouted to Apex last night. I'm tracing the shell company." My jaw clenched. This wasn't just client poaching, it was a corporate coup. I drove to Cascade's headquarters, its steel walls a slap to my exile. The lot hummed with my old team reps. I'd mentored their glances, heavy with loyalty. But I wasn't there to grieve. I needed clarity. Eddie, Victor, they weren't just stealing my clients. They were dismantling my division, the trust I'd forged over 13 years. Years of red-eye flights, client funerals, and a bad shoulder gone. I wasn't letting that slide. Noon, Nate called. "Triton's board is rattled," he said. "Your reports got them scrambling. They want you in tomorrow." "You good?" I gripped the phone. "Good. I'm ready to torch this." But Nate's tone dropped. "Tyler, heads up. Victor's got a board ally, Diane Walsh, 56. She's been quiet, but she's tight with him." My stomach twisted. Diane, the board member who'd toasted my deals last Christmas. Too close to Victor at client galas. "Got it," I said low. "She's on my radar." That afternoon, Lila sent a new file. Emails showing $1. 5 million more funneled to Apex with Diane's name on a contract memo. My blood boiled. Eddie was the face, Victor the brains, but Diane was the insider paving the way. If they were this deep, the scam was bigger than a revenge story. But why my division? My clients were loyal, not a gold mine. What was Victor's play? No time to guess. My phone buzzed. Text unknown number. "Check your mailbox." My pulse spiked. I strode to the porch, heart hammering. A plain envelope, no stamp. Inside a USB drive and a note. "They're not gods. Use it." No signature. I should have called Lila, but I was too wired. In my office, I plugged in the drive. A video loaded. Grainy footage of Eddie and Victor in an Asheville cigar lounge arguing. Eddie jabbed a finger. "You said Pennington was out." Victor's voice was ice. "He is." "Diane's got the board. We're set." The video cut out. My hands shook. Diane. They weren't just poaching, they were rigging Cascade's collapse. But who sent the USB? Ally. Rival. I forwarded it to Lila. "Find out who's tailing Victor," I said. "Someone's playing both sides." She didn't sugarcoat it. "On it." But Tyler, Victor's connected. Old money, dirty hands. This could get ugly. Ugly was my turf. I'd closed a $2 million deal and 18 saved Cascade from a merger flop. But this was personal. I met Nate at his office, showed him the video. His face darkened. Diane's a shadow. If she's in the board's tainted. I leaned forward. Then we hit harder. File with Triton. "Take them all." Nate hesitated. "Big move, Tyler." "Sure." I met his eyes. "They stole my clients. I'm done playing defense." That night I couldn't stay home. The silence screamed betrayal. I drove to a bar, ordered a whiskey. The burn steadied me. Then I saw her, not a ghost but Cora, the analyst. She was at a corner table nursing a bourbon. "Mind if I join?" I asked. She smirked. "Only if you're buying." We talked her startup crash, my early days pitching clients. For an hour I forgot the fight. But as I left, she grabbed my arm. "Tyler, be careful. That shell company, it's Victor's. Eddie's just the puppet." Puppet. The word hit like a sledgehammer. Eddie was a tool, Victor the master. But why my clients? The answer came at dawn. Layla called, voice urgent. "Found the USB source. Ex-employee of Victor's fired last month. Name's Hannah Reed, 40. She's got dirt bribery contract rigging. Wants to meet." I didn't hesitate. "Set it up." Hannah was a mess, chain smoking in a diner. "Victor wants Cascade's market share," she said, eyes darting. Your clients were the key to Apex's dominance. Eddie's job was to break you. My fist clenched. And Diane. Hannah snorted. Diane's trapped. Victor's got leverage, old debts, shady deals. She called me begging for a way out. I leaned in. Out. Why's she still in? Hannah's eyes met mine. Victor's got proof. From her past. Before Cascade. The air vanished. Diane wasn't just a traitor, she was caged. Part of me wanted to expose her. Let her burn. But the part that had fought for Cascade knew better. I slipped Hannah $600. Stay safe, I said. She nodded, gone. The Triton meeting was hours away. I walked in, Nate at my side, Hannah's words burning. Eddie was there, smirking with Diane at the board table. The chair doctor. Susan Grant, 58, skimmed my report, jaw tight. This is serious, she said. I laughed cold. Serious. They stole my clients. I tossed Hannah's affidavit on the table detailing Victor's scheme. Eddie's smirk vanished. Diane paled. Tyler, I didn't save it, I snapped. You sold us out. I pointed at Eddie, who shifted eyes narrow. Then the first twist. Grant's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, froze. We need to pause, she said, voice shaky. Triton got a tip. SEC's looking into Apex. Fraud market rigging. Diane gasped. Eddie shot up. This is bullshit, I said, voice like ice. You're next. The room froze. Grant adjourned, promising to regroup. Diane grabbed my arm as I left. Tyler, I was forced. Victor, I shook her off. You chose him. Outside, Nate clapped my shoulder. You rattled them, but Victor's not done. I nodded, scanning the street. A black SUV idled, tinted windows. Trouble. I called Lila. Check Victor's movements. He's not backing off. She didn't mince words. He's not. Got a hit on his phone. He's meeting Eddie tonight. Industrial Park. You and... I gripped the phone. Damn right. That night I parked a block from the industrial park, Lila's directions locked in. Rain slicked the pavement, streetlights dim. Eddie's car was there next to a Lincoln. Victor's. Voices echoed inside a warehouse. I crept closer, phone recording. Eddie was yelling. You said Pennington was gone. Now the SEC's sniffing. Victor's voice was smooth, deadly. Relax. Diane's the fall guy. She'll take the hit. My blood boiled. They were framing her. After everything, she was their scapegoat. Then the second twist. A flashlight beam hit me. Who's there? A third voice, not Eddie's or Victor's. I froze. Footsteps. I bolted, ducking behind crates. The beam swept past. My phone buzzed. Lila. Get out. Victor's got muscle. Too late. A hand grabbed my collar, yanked me up. A guy 6'4", built like a tank. Wrong place, he growled. I swung, caught his jaw. He staggered. Pain exploded in my ribs as he hit back. I hit the ground, vision swimming. Headlights. A car screeched up. Lila. She leapt out, pepper spray in hand. Back off, she shouted. The guy hesitated, ran. Lila hauled me up. You're a fool, she muttered, shoving me into her car. We peeled out, rain swirling. What'd you hear? She asked. I coughed, ribs screaming. They're framing Diane. Victor's the kingpin. Lila's jaw tightened. Then we take him down. Back home, I iced my ribs, mind racing. Eddie, Victor, Diane, a hydra. Each head uglier. But Hannah's tip, Lila's hustle. Cora's evidence, it was stacking up. I wasn't just fighting for my clients anymore. This was about justice. Cora called. Big news. That shell company, tied to Victor's trust. Market manipulation laundering. I sent it to the SEC. I grinned, pain be damned. You're a genius, she laughed. Just doing my job. But Tyler, Diane's been calling me. She's scared. Eddie's unhinged. I didn't answer. Diane's fear didn't move me. She'd made her bed. Then the third twist. My home security pinged. Footage from last night, someone tampering with my laptop in the garage. I zoomed in. Not Eddie. Diane. She wasn't just a pawn, she was covering her tracks. I called Nate, Lila, Cora. We end this. Now, the plan was simple. Bait Eddie, catch Diane in the act, tie them to Victor. But as I hung up, my phone buzzed. Diane. A voicemail. Tyler, I'm at the office. Eddie's here. He's losing it. Help. Her voice broke raw with panic. I stared at the phone. Cascade's office. My old battlefield where I'd closed 1,000 deals. Now a trap. Or was it? Diane had betrayed me. But that panic, it was real. I grabbed my keys. This wasn't about saving her. This was about finishing it. But the game shifted again. Lila called as I drove. Tyler, new intel. Hannah got more. Victor's been poaching Cascade's suppliers for years, not just your clients. He's got another mole board member, Carl Tatum, 54. He's feeding him intel. My mind reeled. Carl, the board member who'd backed my promotions. Another traitor. What's the play? I asked. Lila's voice was grim. Expose them at the meeting. But watch your back. Victor's desperate. I parked a mile from Cascade mine spinning. Carl's betrayal widened the net. This wasn't just about my clients. It was about Cascade's survival. I met Nate at a diner, rain falling. Carl's dirty, I said, handing him Lila's file. Nate's eyes narrowed. This changes everything. We hit the board with this. It's over. I nodded. But we need Eddie first. He's the weak link. That evening I set the bait. I texted Eddie from a burner phone posing as a client. Heard you're taking Pennington's accounts. Meet me at the office 9 p.m. Let's talk numbers. He bit, replying instantly. I'm there. I called Lila. He's coming. Be ready. She was already positioned hidden in the lot with a camera. At 9 p.m. I watched from a shadowed corner as Eddie arrived pacing in his office. No Diane. Her voicemail was a lie or a setup. My stomach dropped. Then headlights. A black SUV. Victor stepped out with Carl Tatum, not Diane. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a meeting, it was a cleanup. I texted Lila. They're all here. Call the cops! Now. The office was a dark labyrinth, Victor's and Carl's voices slicing through the rain-soaked air from Eddie's office. My heart pounded Diane's voicemail. Eddie's losing it. Help echoing like a warning. Was she luring me or breaking free? I'm Tyler Pennington, and I built Cascade Threads Southeast Division into a $5 million empire. No way was I letting Eddie Ramsey, Victor Klein, or Carl Tatum bury it in an Asheville night. Lila's text said cops were 5 minutes out. I had to hold the line. Footsteps echoed closer. Eddie's voice jagged with panic. Someone's here. I gripped Diane's wrist, her trembling breath sharp against my neck. I signaled quiet, nudging the closet door open a fraction. Eddie was ripping through files, cursing. Victor's tone cut from the office, cold as a blade. Find them, Ramsey. We're wiping everything tonight. Carl's voice nervous. What if Triton's onto us? Victor laughed, venomous. They're not. Pennington's evidence is nothing. Diane's the loose end. My blood surged. They were framing her, shredding my client's gutting Cascade. But Diane's flash drive, if it held truth, could change everything. I whispered to Diane, that recording. Real. She nodded, eyes wide, pressing the drive into my hand. It's all there. Victor's bribes, Eddie's deals. My gut twisted. Trusting her was a risk, but I was out of moves. I pocketed it, mind racing. 5 minutes felt like forever. I needed to stall. Eddie's shadow passed the closet. I hissed to Diane, stay put. Scream if they grab you. She clutched my arm, desperate. Tyler, don't! I shook her off. I'm finishing this. I slipped out, hugging shadows, heart hammering. The office was a maze of cubicles, screens, dark. Victor and Carl were at Eddie's desk, shredding documents. I ducked behind a partition phone recording. Victor's voice was lethal. Wipe the servers. Pennington's clients are apexes by morning. Carl hesitated. If we're caught, we won't be. Victor snapped. Ramsey cleans the mess. My jaw clenched. They thought I was finished. They were dead wrong. The first twist hit like a shockwave. A crash rang out, Diane tripping from the closet, toppling a monitor. Eddie spun eyes feral. There. He charged her. I didn't think. I surged forward, slamming into him. We crashed into a desk, papers flying. Eddie roared, swinging a fist. Pain flared in my jaw, but I pinned his arm, knee on his chest. Stay down, I yelled. Diane screamed, scrambling back. Victor cursed, snatching a laptop. Carl froze, eyes darting to the exit. Headlights flashed outside, red and blue, cutting through the rain. Lila had delivered. Eddie thrashed, but I held him, ribs aching from the warehouse brawl. Victor bolted for the fire exit, laptop clutched. I shouted, he's running. Carl hesitated, then fled after him. Diane stood trembling, gripping a chair. Tyler, I'm sorry, not now, I snapped, hauling Eddie up. Sirens wailed, closing in. Cops burst in, shouting. Hands up! I released Eddie, hands raised. Tyler Pennington, I said, voice steady. They're your targets. The cops cuffed Eddie, his smirk erased. Victor and Carl didn't get far. Lila's tip had squad cars at the exits. I handed the flash drive to the lead officer, a weathered guy named Burke. This has it all. Bribes, client theft, market rigging. Burke nodded, bagging it. Diane stood by the door, pale, silent. I didn't meet her eyes. My statement was sharp. Eddie's poaching, Victor's scheme, Diane's betrayal. The cops hauled them out, rain swirling in their wake. Days later, the fallout hit. Victor's arrest dominated Asheville headlines: fraud, bribery, market manipulation. Eddie turned, spilling everything for a lighter sentence. Diane faced charges, her board seat gone. The SEC halted Apex's deals, freezing Triton's buyout. My clients were secured $2 million in contracts traced. Cora's evidence and Diane's recording sealed it. But the second twist came from Hannah, the whistleblower. She met me at a bar, sliding over a flash drive. Victor's private text, she said. He blackmailed Diane with her past tax evasion, old loans. I hacked his cloud. Your call. I stared at the drive. Part of me wanted to burn it, let her secrets fade. But the part that had fought for Cascade kept it locked in a safe. Not for revenge, but caution. Diane was gone, but I wasn't taking chances. Weeks passed. I didn't go back to Cascade. Instead, I got a call from Peak Pulse, a rising outdoor brand in Charlotte. Their CEO, Hank Larson, 57, wanted me to lead their sales arm. I walked into their boardroom, my record on display. Hank didn't blink. Name your terms. I did. $300, 0.006% equity, and a public statement calling me the deal king. He shook my hand. Done. Cascade's board begged me to return, offering a VP role. I met them in their tower, their faces desperate. Tyler, we need you, doctor? Grant pleaded. I smiled, tore their offer in half. You had your chance, I said, walking out. The glass doors clicked shut final. Diane sent a letter a month later, handwritten, tear-stained. I was trapped, she wrote. I'm sorry. I read it once, burned it in the backyard. Sorry didn't rebuild trust. Sorry didn't erase Eddie's smirk or Victor's schemes. I'd rebuilt my life stronger. That was enough. Peak Pulse launched my division contracts flooding in. I bought a new place, modern, overlooking Charlotte's skyline. Cora and I grabbed drinks sometimes, her sharp humor a spark. Not love, not yet, but a start. But the third twist came late when Lila called. Tyler, one more thing. Diane's recording. She made it before you were fired. She was trying to stop Victor from the start. My chest tightened. Had I misjudged her? Or was it another lie? I didn't know, and I didn't chase it. Some truths stay buried. Then the fourth twist. My old Cascade clients loyal to me, not the company, started calling. They wanted to follow me to Peak Pulse. I didn't poach them. I didn't have to. They came because they trusted me. I set up a community fund with my first Peak Pulse bonus, helping small clients hit by Cascade's collapse. It wasn't about tearing down Eddie or Victor. It was about lifting up those who'd stood by me. But the final twist cut deepest. Nate called, voice low. Tyler, we found something in Victor's texts. He wasn't just poaching your clients. He was targeting you, your deals, your reputation, to discredit you if you fought back. There's a file labeled Pennington Plan. It's got fabricated complaints pinned on you. My blood ran cold. They hadn't just used me, they'd planned to frame me. I met Nate at a diner, rain falling outside. What's in the file? I asked. He slid a printout over. Fake emails, doctored contracts. Enough to ruin you. I exhaled, steady. Send it to the SEC. Let it bury them. Late at night, staring at Charlotte's lights, I'd see that flash drive in my mind. Feel the weight of what I'd become. Was I a victor? A survivor? Or just a man who chose to rise? I don't know. Maybe you do. Did I do right burning Diane's letter without a reply? Or should I have offered her a chance to explain one last time? What's justice when trust is ash? Can loyalty rebuild what greed destroys, or does it only scar us? Like what you heard. Hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Viora, because the next story might just be your favorite one yet.